Hey everyone, Shannon with Catapult Consulting here with you today. That is CatapultConsultingGroup.com. And today I wanted to talk about something that I know is a challenge for small employers. Sometimes it's frustrating when you can't offer the same caliber of benefits that your larger competitors or larger companies can offer. There are some benefits that you absolutely can offer employees and use to leverage yourself to attract candidates that are great and retain wonderful people. You as a small employer have greater latitude as it relates to extending more opportunities for them to learn and grow in their particular positions. So what does this mean? What am I talking about? Well, if you work at a huge company with thousands of people or even sometimes hundreds of people, your job is very, very specific. There's no bleed over. They have a whole nother department, a whole nother group, a whole nother team to do those bleed over things that might correlate to a specific job. But when you work at a smaller company and you're interested in finding out how certain things work that are attached to your specific position, there's more latitude to give people the opportunity to learn about those things. And that is something that is sometimes overlooked when people are looking for jobs. They want the name, but they're not thinking about experience and how that experience is going to be able to position them years down the line to be able to move at an accelerated rate because they'll have the experience behind them, leveraging that opportunity for them to really grow in their job, for them to learn, for them to have an exposure and experience beyond some of their peers. A survey that Hayes did in 2022 indicated that 72% of employees would leave their job due to lack of development opportunities. So people want to grow in their jobs. People want to learn in their jobs. People indicate that is a high priority, 72% of people. And they also did another survey and said that upskilling and development opportunities make the employee feel more satisfied at their job. And that was over 40% of employees who responded in that way with that particular survey. So allowing your employees as a small business to really grow and learn and empower them to be able to do such is really a great benefit that they don't always necessarily get at larger companies. If they do get training and if they do get development, typically it's in a very structured way. Having that flexibility in being able to have those opportunities to learn, to develop, to grow in very unique and specific ways that is interesting to that employee, but also beneficial to the company is a win-win all the way around. And I just wanted to make a point. Some of these things will not appeal to all people. However, there's a certain element of the job pool who are go-getters. They're hungry. They want to learn just as much as they want to be able to get paid a certain amount or whatnot. They want to be able to grow. And so if everyone is not drawn by these benefits, don't let it dissuade you, and don't stop using the latitude within these benefits, because what you want when you're working at a smaller place are the hungry ones, and ones who are wanting to grow at an exponential rate. Those are the ones that you want. So the next one is education. A lot of companies, they do have learning and development, training and development, education stipends, and all of that other stuff. But when you work in a smaller company, the education, the exposure, the training that these people who want to learn can get can be customized. When you work at larger places, a lot of times it's not customized. It is more of a, cookie cutter type of a thing. And it has to really be pertaining specifically to the job that they're in. And of course, when you're at a smaller company, you want it to pertain to the job that they're in. But there's a lot more wiggle room and latitude that you might not be able to get at some of the larger companies. So use that to your benefit. Educational resources. Give them latitude and not just a cap if they're interested in learning more. Their specific trade, their specific specialty, their specific part of the business. The next benefit that I wanted to share with you has to do with balance. So a lot of people are looking for balance in their work life. So I wanted to provide some related statistics to this, just so you would have just a greater understanding and perspective of what I'm saying. So Hayes Group in, I believe it was 2022, did a survey, and 56% of employees cited that work-life balance was the most important factor when it came to job satisfaction. In a survey that Indeed conducted and performed, 46% of employees felt burned out due to long hours, with 44% citing an overwhelming workload. So balance in the workplace is truly an important factor to attract employees and to keep employees. When we're talking about work-life balance, you have the latitude as a smaller company to be able to give special and unique working arrangements to your people. Whereas in a larger organization, it's more structured. They can't necessarily give a lot of special and unique working arrangements to those who work at that organization. They have to have some sort of structure. They have to make sure that there are, there's fair practices across the board. And so when you're talking about work-life balance, you can be so creative and so flexible with the people who are wanting that work-life balance. And we know so many people are really desiring that. So you have the latitude to be as creative as you want. The other thing with that work-life balance, and as a small organization, you have the ability to easily cultivate the type of culture that you want. And so when we're talking about thousands and thousands of people at a work site or at a company, it's harder and it takes more time to cultivate a culture. But when you have a small group, when you have, under 50 or 20 people, you can really not only establish the culture in a quicker time frame, but also solidify it and let it really dig deep over time as you grow. And so use that time as an employer, as a small employer, to really leverage your time as a small employer. As you grow and as you expand and get bigger, it's going to be harder to cultivate that culture. So my one tip for you as a small employer is to cultivate that culture now, because you down the line, you are going to want to attract those top candidates, and it's going to be much easier if you have already cultivated the culture that will attract and retain those people. The other thing that you can leverage as a small company as a benefit is the access that they have to ask questions of senior leaders. When you're working at a huge conglomerate, a lot of times you don't even have access to see those people, much less ask them a bunch of questions. But when you're working at a smaller organization, a lot of times people who are entry level or mid-level have access where they wouldn't necessarily have it at other places. And that access can really give them the ability to gain favor in the eyes of people who are at levels much higher than them. And so that is another benefit. And so I hope that those benefits that small employers can offer are helpful to you. If they are, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.